All right, let's dive right into this explainer. If you're a homeowner here in San Diego, you already know the drill, right? The pest pressure in our neighborhoods, it literally never stops. We've got ants, spiders, and rodents constantly invading the exact same yards where our dogs play and our cats roam. And look, for most of us, protecting our pets is the absolute #1 priority, period. But that puts us in this kind of tricky spot, where we end up putting off pest treatments because we're just not sure what's actually safe for our furry or feathered family members. So today, we're cutting through the noise. We are breaking down some top-tier, zero-fluff info from Pest Pros San Diego to figure out what pet-safe pest control actually looks like in the real world. Which brings us to the million-dollar question, right? Is pest control ever truly safe for your pets? It's totally valid to be anxious about this. I mean, we've all heard that persistent myth that you basically have to choose between living with bugs or putting your pets at risk. But here's the reality. Most professional general pest control is actually pest-safe by design. But, and this is a massive but, safe isn't just some magic blanket term. It completely depends on the exact product they're using, exactly where they put it, and precisely which animals are running around your house. Okay, let's dive into Section 1, defining pet-safe pest control. So if we strip away all that shiny marketing fluff, what does pet-safe actually mean legally and practically? Well, true safety in this industry is heavily regulated. It means using strictly EPA-registered products, applied exactly at their label rates. But honestly, the physical application is just as crucial. PetSafe absolutely does not mean broadly spraying chemicals all over open floors or countertops or your living room rug where your dog is going to roll around. No way. Licensed techs specifically target perimeters, foundation lines, baseboards, basically hidden spots like cracks and crevices. The whole strategy is keeping the product strictly where the bugs hide and totally out of the spaces where your pets actually live. It really all boils down to the big three of pet-safe treatments: the product, the placement, and the timing. We just talked a bit about the product, but placement? Placement is huge. It matters just as much as what's actually in the sprayer. For instance, ant and roach baits have to go inside tamper-resistant stations so a curious puppy can't just chew them open. And if they're dealing with rodents, bait should always be in locked boxes anchored securely along walls, never just scattered loose on the ground. A tech who knows that spot treating a doorway crack is entirely different from a broad interior spray, well, that's the kind of pro you can actually trust with your pets. Moving right along to Section 2, drying times and yard access. So, the most common question everyone has is exactly how long do I need to lock my pets inside? Well, the crucial point here is that 30 to 60-minute window. You see, most treated surfaces are completely safe for your pets to walk on once they are fully dry. And normally, that drying process takes about half an hour to an hour. Indoors usually dries a bit faster than outside just because outdoor sprays are hitting soil and mulch instead of dry indoor baseboards. So, until your technician gives you the absolute green light that the perimeter is bone dry, those yard dogs and outdoor cats definitely need to stay indoors. But hey, we have to factor in our unique San Diego microclimates, right? If you're inland, you're usually going to see those standard, faster dry times. But if you live over in coastal San Diego, that ocean humidity can actually stretch out the required dry time slightly. It just takes longer for things to evaporate. Because of this, please don't just assume a flat 30-minute wait is good enough if you catch that ocean breeze. Always ask your tech for a precise window for your specific yard on that specific day. Next up, Section 3, why cats need extra care. Now we need to escalate things and get into some highly specific, kind of hidden dangers, specifically regarding cats. This is fascinating, honestly. Dogs actually possess a specific enzyme that lets them efficiently break down a class of chemicals called pyrothroids, which are super common in outdoor bug sprays. Cats, on the other hand, literally do not have this enzyme. Because they can't break those compounds down, they are wildly sensitive to pyrothroid-based products. So what does this all mean? It means a perfectly safe EPA-approved treatment for a house with just dogs could actually be incredibly dangerous for a house with cats. Because of that huge biological difference, these are the three most important words you can ever say when you're booking a service. I have cats. Now, having cats is definitely not a reason to just give up and live with roaches, but it is a mandatory reason to communicate clearly with your bug guy. When a good professional hears you have cats, they will automatically adjust the chemical mix and change up the application method to make sure it's 100% safe for feline biology. I want to slow down just a beat here because it is absolutely vital we talk about what to look for if something actually does go wrong. It's rare with a pro, but you still need to know these emergency symptoms. If your pet starts vomiting, drooling excessively, having tremors, or showing really unusual lethargy after a spray, you need to get to an emergency vet immediately. These reactions almost always trace back to two massive mistakes. Either a pet ate loose bait that wasn't locked up, or they got into the yard way too early and licked a wet, freshly sprayed surface. If you see these signs, call the vet first. Then immediately call your pest company so they can tell the vet exactly what chemicals were used. All right, Section 4, koi, chickens, and small pets. San Diego has this amazing backyard livestock culture that those generic national pest control guides totally ignore, right? So let's look at a quick cheat sheet for our specific ecosystems. We covered dogs and cats, but what if you have koi or pondfish? The massive risk there is pesticide runoff, which is highly toxic to aquatic life. You absolutely have to ask for a water-safe application where they stay far away from the water's edge. Got rabbits, guinea pigs, or small caged pets? They are incredibly sensitive to airborne fumes, way more than a dog is, so you need to ask if you should temporarily move their outdoor hutch while the spraying happens. And for my backyard chicken keepers, listen up. Chickens are constantly foraging, right? They're basically tiny raptors, and they are absolutely not picky eaters. This means two crucial things for you. First, 0 eggs and 0 coop bedding can be anywhere near a treated perimeter until it is bone dry. Second, if you're using rodent bait stations, they must be securely anchored and completely 100% inaccessible to your flock.
Bringing us to Section 5, DIY versus professional treatments.
So we arrive at the final big decision. Who should actually be applying these chemicals around your beloved animals? You or a pro? I love this concept of safety math. Doing it yourself isn't inherently a bad thing, but it puts all the safety math squarely on your shoulders instead of someone who literally trains for this. Store-bought sprays and foggers give you way less control over concentration and placement. If you DIY, you have to nail the exact label rates, the precise re-entry times, and know every single chemical sensitivity of your specific pets instead of just relying on an expert. When you look at it that way, the advantages of hiring a pro become pretty glaring, especially if your house is a zoo of cats, dogs, maybe a reptile, or some backyard birds. A licensed tech sticks strictly to those EPA label rates. They give you the exact timing for when your yard is safe again based on today's local humidity. They completely customize the product for your specific mix of pets, so you completely avoid that dangerous one-size-fits-all hardware store can. Plus, they use properly locked and anchored bait boxes. It really just replaces guesswork with a dedicated pet-first approach. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a thought to really chew on. Are you asking the right questions before the spraying even starts? Look, every single home with pets is unique. But when you know to ask about drying times, when you know to mention your cats to avoid those pyrothroids, and when you firmly demand locked bait stations, you take complete control of the conversation. You don't have to choose between a pest-free home and your pet's safety, as long as you know exactly what to ask the person standing at your front door. Thanks for hanging out with me on this deep dive, and as always, stay curious.